are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody, and it is Friday, which means it's a Friday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. No Ty Bartell today. He's dealing with a little bit of power issues, like a lot of people over in Aaron Gilbert's part of the world are. We are going to be joined by the top of the show, though, by head coach of the Garfield girls basketball team, Aaron Gilbert. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, what a crazy day. Everyone's kind of dealing with some power outage, but good to see that you're still working and you're still at school.
Yeah, it was a little rough morning, but we've managed to get through and get here and try to keep it as normal as possible.
Man, how do you keep things normal when you're getting ready for a district championship again? I mean, does this ever get old? It's starting to become a routine for Garfield.
Oh,
Here we go, district championship.
No, it never gets old. You know, one of the, this is year 15 for me here, and it took us, I believe, 6 years to win our first tournament game, sectional tournament game. And ever since then, we've been able to roll. And one thing that I learned is you can't take any of it for granted. It never gets routine. You never, because every group is unique. You graduate kids. You may be the same coach, but you're having a new group that you're bringing into the game each year. And so, you try to explain to them what the feeling is. You try to explain to them how the atmosphere is different. The game is faster. The crowd is louder. Every possession matters a little bit more. But yeah, at times you just have to breathe and enjoy the moment, which it's not easy to do. You do get caught up in the moment, but you just got to take everything in stride. The first year we made our regional run in 2015, it was such a blur. I mean, did we expect, we got high. I mean, we came into the tournament with 8 losses that year and made a run all the way to the regional finals that year with when Grayson and Lauren were sophomores. And it just went by. And I vowed to myself that night, I gotta take a step and enjoy this. And thankfully we got another chance 2 years later to get into that same game, but you just never know. I mean, it's tourney time, anything can happen. I watched some games last night on different live streams, and there were some buzzer beaters. There were some top seeds that got knocked off over on the other side of the state. And heck, look at Fitch's boys. I mean, who would have thought they'd go down to Dover and knock off a one-loss Dover team? So weird things happen, man. You just get hot at the right time, and things can happen.
That was, according to Max Preps, 156 in the state against 6 in the state. In Austintown, Fitch pulled off the win.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. And like I said, you get one kid that has a good shooting night. It's all it takes. I mean, and basketball is one of those fickle things where, you can bring your defense, but sometimes your offense, you don't know, like, there might be a kid who just might be feeling it that night. It might be a kid who's not on the scouting report, which is always, as coaches, our worst fear. It's that kid who's not on the scouting report and all of a sudden drops 15 on us. Where'd this kid come from? Because you focus on player A and player B, maybe even player C, but all of a sudden player G starts hitting stuff and you're like, oh, where'd this kid come from? And their coach, may even be like, oh, I don't know, so it's you just never know.
Have you ever had a hard time kind of teaching that lesson to players? Like, hey, that, this isn't going to be a cakewalk just because of the record or anything can happen on any given night. Has that ever been kind of tough to explain to 15 to 18-year-old kids?
Oh, absolutely. It's they're not dumb. They read social media. They listen to people in the hallways at school. They listen to home who, oh, this game will be, whatever. I mean, look at our first game against Wycliffe. We're down 8-0, 10-2, and it's like I told you guys, like teams, for years we were the chasers, and we were the ones that were the underdogs, and we were the ones that, could give that big motivational speech of, hey, this is your opportunity to make a name for yourself. Well, now we've been on the flip side of that for several years, and now we've got the big giant target on our back. We're the red letter game on people's schedules. And so you try to get each group to understand that no matter what the record is, everybody is going to take their best shot. Everybody's going to play their best game against you. And that's really hard, especially in basketball, to get yourself physically, but more importantly, mentally in that frame of mind that everybody is bringing their A game, because you can't afford a night off. And because that might be the night. And, tourney time, you can't have a night off because it can end. And that's the beauty of the tournament, but that's also the pain of the tournament is, you always have to be ready to give that speech in the locker room. And that is the worst speech that any coach is going to tell you. That's the worst speech to have to give after a loss in the tournament locker room, because there's a lot of emotion flowing and it's hard. That's when the reality hits. And, all of us want it to keep going forever. There's only 4 people in the state that get to keep it going. But you don't want to lose the game because of something you did.
Right.
As a coach, or even as a player, you don't want that kid to miss a shot. And then, oh my God, I watched the, Crestview and who they played in D2 last night. Ashland Crestview was playing. I can't remember. Stole down 1. Girl hit a 3, down 1. They steal the inbounds pass. They miss 2 layups and lose the game. I mean, how'd you like to be those 2 players? It's just like, and one happened to be, I believe one was a senior, and that's her last high school shot is a missed layup to keep their season alive. And it was an upset game. Might have been, was it Upper Sandusky beat? I don't remember. But anyway, you just that's the unfortunate parts of tourney time is it's just one of those things.
Everything gets put under a microscope, and as as a coach, like it didn't come down to those 2 shots.
No, and everybody will point at that, but there were 10 possessions earlier in the game that you can point to. That pass, that missed shot, that missed free throw, that missed rebound. I told our girls after, you were there. I told our girls after the Fort Fry game. That girl hit the corner 3, but it wasn't that shot. It was the previous possessions of a missed rebound, a missed layup, a missed free throw. But everybody's going to focus on, you didn't, close out on the person hitting the 3 in the corner.
Yeah, it's hard to tell a kid that. Like, I remember Poland played West Branch a couple of years ago. Jackie Grisdale was at the free throw line, and you never expect her to miss free throws. She missed it, and West Branch got the win that night. And it was one of those things. It's like, you feel bad for the player, but at the same time, that the game's not decided by that one shot. But definitely everything's under a microscope come tournament time.
Absolutely. Let's
talk about this Berkshire game that you guys played to get to this district championship game that we're going to talk about. 16-13 after 1. I mean, it was a competitive game, and then you guys won the second and third quarter pretty handily to pull away. What kind of was the difference between the first and second quarter, and what adjustments did you guys make during the game?
Really, we knew they caused problems to us even in the first time. We started off really hot against them. I think we were up 17-0 when we played them in regular season, and then they cut it to, I think, 8 or 10 at halftime, and then I think they cut it to 8 in the third quarter, and then we put a little blitz on them. We got in a little foul trouble, so we had to play a little different defense than what we were planning. I don't think they were completely expecting us to play the defense that we played. And we just rotated really well. I think the girls realized, this player's out with fouls. Somebody's got to step up. And we had a couple kids step up that night. Sydney stepped up big time. Nora stepped up to play some really quality minutes for us because you can't plan for fouls. You don't know how the game's going to get called. And then, third quarter, we have not played an entire half of man defense for a while. And we ended up saying, all right, let's go. We knew we had to stop their dribble drive, and we felt the way to do that was to man up with them. And we did a phenomenal job talking and getting in position and getting our hands in the passing lanes and making all their shots difficult. I think they ended up shooting like 20-some% for the game. I think we were darn near 50% for the game. And part of that was because we were shooting layups and they were shooting, mid-range and deep shots. So
you had a couple of more milestones happen in this game as well. Jenna Smith eclipses 1,600, I believe, the third player in Garfield history to get to 1,600, which I saw. I don't know if it's accurate. I saw you're the only team in Portage County to
Tom Nader, who is a reporter for the Record Courier's done a lot of work and stuff, and he tweeted that out, that he believes it's, we're the only school in the county to have three. I've been blessed that I've had all three of them with Grace and now Jenna. But that's just one of those things that it's just hard work, and it's just, as I said before, with the 1,000-point milestone, I think you're seeing more of them because there's more games now to play. And you have players. You look at all three of those girls, all three of them were four-year starters. All three of them made regional runs. So it's just more games, more opportunities. But bottom line, all three of them are studs. I mean, all three of them are great at their position. They all understand. They're all willing to shoulder a huge load. They know when game's on the line, all three of them are going to see the ball. There is an outside chance that Jenna could catch Grace. She's not going to catch Grayson unless we can make it to Columbus or Dayton now, I should say. But she's got a chance to get. But the nice thing with her is she had one kind of goal number in mind going into the season based on where she was, but these numbers now are it's just icing on the cake. And then for Sarah to break her own single season record. And the thing about last year, her single season record is because of the COVID and everything, we played 4 less season games. So, realistically, if she could have had 4 games, she might have even set that mark higher last year. But, this year she was able to break last year's record and really put her name. I was joking with her the other day. I go, God, I got to look at your name for a while. It's going to be on the board 3 times. But those are 2 kids that, we found video of the regional run. I showed them regional game from when we made it to regionals last year. I showed them our regional games from 2015 and 2017 and in 2015, ironically, there's a group of young players, future players, who are sitting front row and second row, and in that group, watching the game is Sarah and Jenna. And it's, we talked about years ago, you guys were sitting, now you're on this floor playing. And so, they've had this in the back of their mind of getting to this game, getting to the next level. Obviously, district championship game 3 years in a row. No class has ever done that in girls basketball history here at this school. Nobody's ever been in 3 district title games. So, I told them, I said, that's something that even that class with Grayson and Lauren didn't do. We made it 2 in 3 years, but we never made it 3 in 3 years.
And for the 3rd straight time, you get the same team on the other end.
Yes, we do.
To town.
4 and 5 years.
Right. I mean,
because in 17 we played them. 17 we played them. 18 we didn't make it, and then 19, 20, 21. So it's 3 in a row. I'd be interested to look around the brackets in the state and see of all the divisions how many times the same 2 teams have matched up repeatedly in the district championship game.
They've become even more familiar this year because they're in their conference, and you've played them twice in conference play. Before we get you out of here, preview this game. I know you split with them in the regular season, the exciting overtime win the last time. What's it going to take this time around to kind of maybe separate yourselves a little bit or make the difference in this game?
I think with them, they're playing like us. I think we're both teams are playing really well right now. I know, once Mike lost the freshman Grisdale, to knee injury, he had to kind of tweak his playing style a little bit, and they have. They've become much more of a 5-out dribble drive team than he's ever been, launching a lot of threes. But he's got really quick guards, with Howell and Meyer. And then Dodrell, you cannot leave her open. I mean, that game Wednesday night when she was out, Kirtland was right there and had everything. And then Dodrell came back in halfway through the third quarter, and I don't think she missed a shot. And that's when the game blew open. So, she's a set shooter. She's a problem. But so is Meyer. Meyer's, that girl, all three of them have averaged about 14 a game against us in the 2 times we've played. So, it's one of those where neither of us are going to do anything necessarily that's going to surprise the other person. We're both, Mike, I'm sure, is trying to find a little wrinkle to put in offensively or maybe defensively to do something. But we know what we're going to do. They know what we're going to do. We know each other's plays. God, we call a play and he's sitting there telling people where to go. He calls a play. I'm telling our kids where his kids are going to go. So there's a ton of familiarity. We've become friends over the years just because of these battles. It's a respect thing. And I think it's a tribute to both programs to be in this game consistently. I think that's just something that no matter who's on the roster, we're both finding ways to win. And, playing those couple extra times this year, they've been dogfights. I don't think this game's going to change at all. I'm hoping it's a dogfight. I'm hoping we're on the right side of that fight. But like I said, tourney time, you never know who's going to hit that shot.
When it's so familiar, how do you not fall into the trap of trying to change too much or trying to, fix what's not broken to break the, familiarity chain?
Yeah, that's the big thing as coaches that we have to do is we've got to do what we feel comfortable with. We may see a wrinkle that we want to put in, but we also don't want to paralyze our kids mentally by freezing them, trying to watch for something, just kind of let the flow of the game go. And, it's both of us feel that in both games we had opportunities to win. The first time we play, they beat us by 3. I'm like, okay, we had opportunities. And then we beat them by 3 in overtime. And, they had hit that layup basically at the buzzer to tie it in regulation. So, he's sitting there going, well, God, we had opportunities to go too. So I just think, it's just going to be, I think it's going to be an awesome atmosphere. I think both groups are going to bring a ton of people. It's going to be the way high school basketball should. It's going to be loud. It's going to be intense. Hopefully it's a well-called game because we want to see players on the floor. We want the players to be, at their best and not worrying about, ticky-tack things. And but, at the same time, let's put props to our conference, the great tier. You got the top 4 teams all playing each other for district championships. Our tier is as good as anybody. I know West Branch's league's got multiple teams playing for district titles too. And I looked at our schedule. We lost 6 games. Every one of those 6 opponents is playing for a district championship either tonight or tomorrow. So, I think that's a tribute to, just the basketball, the quality of basketball in the area that, there's some representatives that are going to do some damage even at the regional level once we get through each other at the district level.
Yeah, and you're in the same region, so we could see an MVAC regional final too.
Yeah, that would be. You want to talk about kudos to the league. That just kind of shows you how tough our conference is. If we can get people that far, it's a grind. We just beat each other up during the season and prepare each other, I guess, for the postseason.
Coach, we wish you the best of luck. We know this game's going to be wild in Lakeview. We hope that you guys come up on top. Honestly, biggest hope is everyone comes out healthy and it's a good game.
Absolutely,
because that's the most important thing. Coach, we look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you always for the time that you give us.
Yep, I appreciate it. Thanks, Anthony. Have a good one.
Coach Aaron Gilbert, the head coach over at Garfield, 15th year in the program. Wow, he's put in the time. He's always said that, you got to have consistency as a coach to build the program, and he is the shining example of that. They will play champion in the district championship on Saturday in Lakeview at 7 o'clock. That is when it is scheduled to tip. I say Saturday, it's tomorrow night. It's here we go. 3rd time in a row, 4th time in 5 years that these two teams have met in the district championship. I'm thinking back to my history watching girls basketball. I know South Range and Brookfield met a couple of times here and there between 13 and 16 down in Struthers, but it wasn't back to back. No, in my recollection, I can't think of anyone that's gone 3 times in a row, 4 times out of 5, all meeting each other in the district championship game. And that's insane. It's props to both programs. Both girls programs as a whole have such a tradition of success, whether it be every sport they play in the school. You look at some of these girls on the basketball team that are going to go on and play on the softball team. Garfield's softball team is very successful, almost as successful as their basketball team. And obviously their volleyball team was right behind Crestview this year in that MVAC grade tier for volleyball. So there's a standard of success. Everyone knows what champion softball is all about. There's a standard of success for both girls' athletics programs, and it goes down to, we've asked multiple people this, but it goes down to people at the top first off, coaches, building programs, parents that buy in have to buy in, because if you have, we know that one parent can kind of ruin the chemistry of a program. We've seen it before. So parents and families buy in, community support, and then obviously the leadership shows the young players what the standard is, and the young players kind of adapt it. And then when you get to this point, everyone wants to be in that program. So no one wants to be the class to kind of give up that success. So it's a shining example of tradition, and we can't be prouder enough to cover it. We're going to be there in Lakeview. It'll be the Lakeview students getting the big call. They've been putting in work for us all year for Lakeview home games, and now that Lakeview is hosting, they get the opportunity to call a district championship game. They did a great job with the 2 semifinals between Champion and Kirtland and Garfield and Berkshire. So they'll do a great job in this really fun matchup Saturday against Garfield and Champion. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to all the district championship games that we're going to have here tomorrow. We're going to be talking to Deidre Watson and Ken Forsyth, head coaches of Brookfield and Liberty, later on in the show. It'll be Ken Forsyth at 12:30, Deidre Watson at 1 o'clock. We're also going to be bringing on Anthony Romo after Deidre Watson to talk about the boys' scope of things, sectional finals tonight. And he'll be down in Springfield as they host East Palestine. We talked to Jeff Brink earlier in the week. His coach's corner can be found at ysnlive.com. But, Romo has been right on Springfield's train all year. And like always, he's going to know so much about that team and their chances to make another deep tournament run. They got East Palestine tonight. We're also going to be talking about all the other matchups on the boys' sides of things tomorrow and Saturday. We got a couple of Division I teams that earned the right to play Saturday because they upset teams on the road. Boardman beat Alliance on the road by 11. Fitch beat Dover on the road by 3, and that was a Fitch team that, according to Max Preps, and I said this during Coach Gilbert's interview, according to Max Preps, take that for what it's worth, Fitch was number 156 in Division I, and Dover was number 6. They were also the 6th seed in this Northeast district. And Fitch was the 28th seed. Big upset for Fitch. And they've been playing close games all year. I mean, we talked about it with Coach Beanie yesterday. They've been playing close games all year, and that's why they were able to pull out a close game in Dover. If you let Fitch stay with you, they're going to have the experience and the confidence to make some game-winning plays. They've proven that. They will travel to Aurora tomorrow in the sectional final. Ty Bartell hoping to be there. We're waiting for confirmation from Aurora, as far as I know, whether or not he'll be there or not. But if they open the gates, we'll be there for sure. Boardman gets to host now, as they'll host Massillon, Washington on Saturday in the sectional final. Should be a fun Saturday with Division I boys sectional finals and Divisions 2 through 4 district championships on the girls' side. We're going to take a break, and on the other end of that break, we're going to be getting ready for Ken Forsyth, the head coach of the Brookfield Lady Warriors, talking about another district championship game inside that MVAC grade tier next on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the four words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com. Anthony Hartwig solo today. Ty Bartell, like so many people in Portage County because of the winter storms, is dealing with a slight power outage, unfortunately, so he'll be back on Monday. I'm going to be joined by Ken Forsyth, the head coach of the Brookfield girls basketball team. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me, Anthony. How's everything going?
We're going good. Not as good as you, though, because you're gearing up for your second straight district championship game. This time it will be against a very familiar foe in Liberty. Before we talk about all that, let's talk about this game against Ursuline and what went so right for you guys and what you saw, how it unfolded, and what you think you guys did so well.
But, the major thing is we shared the ball well, which was, it's a key for any game we play. We got some other scores, some opportunities to score, and it was just they make shots. The game's easier for them, so it's fun. They're missing shots and they get down, and that's what we try to preach the last couple of days is we just got to keep battling no matter the outcome.
You guys in your shooting set the tone early in this game. I mean, talk about how important that is in the tournament. Big atmosphere against a historically great, Ursuline girls basketball team that has won plenty of district championships. To set the tone early and take that lead like you did and kind of give your girls confidence early in that game, how important was that?
It was huge because again, we haven't been shooting the ball very well, and we came out flat a little Saturday against Kearney at the start, and for us to play. Last year we were at home up until the district finals. For us to go to a neutral site and play a team like Ursuline, it was huge for us, and be on that court, in that great venue of Struthers Fieldhouse it's great. And they wondered why we went there in November and scrimmaged Struthers. And it was just I went there and we played Lakeview during the regular season at Lakeview. I just wanted them on both floors, and because we never knew where we'd be, but but it was just a learning process.
You were in the district last year, but because of COVID, you didn't really get that atmosphere of being on a neutral floor and having both communities in equal support there. What was it like for your girls to step into that atmosphere of a district semifinal the way it should be? And how proud are you that they kind of handled it the way they did?
I'm proud because first and foremost, we had a huge following there, which is huge. Our community showed up, and I'm hoping more of them come out tomorrow. And our girls needed that to kind of make it a home game atmosphere. And how they've been playing, I told them, I said, the more you win, the more the community is going to show up, and they have been. So, and that goes hats off to everybody in Brookfield that comes out and supports these girls every night they can. But I think that helped ease us into how we played.
We had a chance to talk to Sophia Hook yesterday live on the show as part of one of her player profiles. And obviously, she has been so important to what you guys have been able to do. I want you to talk a little bit about some of the intangibles that people don't see when they're watching her play that she does for your team that just make her such a good leader.
She sees the floor really well. And she trusts her teammates, which is huge. Um, the other night she made it behind the back pass to, I think it was Katie Gibson. On the run, and it was just, but that's her. It's just she's an athlete. She's good at everything she does, and people see that and the defensive side that she plays and rebounding. She's averaging 10.5 rebounds a game, so that goes a long way for being a guard. To average 10.5 rebounds is huge.
Let's talk about the opportunity now in front of you, a district championship game against Liberty. You guys split in the regular season. You both won on the other's home floor. You guys went to Liberty and beat them in Liberty, and they beat you in Brookfield. What's it going to take this time around to kind of get this district championship game on a neutral floor and take it from them?
They're the best team around here in my eyes. It's going to take everything we have and some to come close to beating them, and I'm hoping our girls are ready for that challenge because I'm sure that in the back of their mind they got one loss, and it was to us, and I'm sure they're going to be looking for blood, and I'm sure we're going to see their best game that they ever play tomorrow night, and we got to be able to take that first couple punches from them and see where we are after that to weather the storm.
How much do you as a coaching staff and you as a team, how much can you learn from the first two matchups and watch, and then how much of it is going to be just there are no secrets and you just have to go out and play? How do you balance trying to learn from the two matchups and then realizing that this is a new game and it could go completely different?
It's a whole new game. You're in a whole different atmosphere. We've been here. Liberty's played in some huge games, and it's going to be a boxing match. I think our girls want to win. Their girls want to win, and it's just it's at the end of the day they're competitors, and they're two great teams. And I think at the end of the day, if we got to rebound and play some defense and handle their pressure, because I'm sure we're going to see a lot of pressure tomorrow night on our guards. And if we're able to do them little things, then at the end of the game, if it's a 1 or 2 point game and we got a shot to win it, then that's great. But hats off to them. It's regardless of who wins, it's great being here, and it's going to be a fun night.
Obviously, you want to win as Brookfield.
Yeah.
What would it mean? What would it mean to your program to get this win and secure a district championship and make a lot of these players their first really venture into the regional atmosphere?
And I give them goal sheets at the beginning of the year, and every girl that came back from last year on that goal, their number one goal was to get back to this game, and they wanted a chance to make it to regionals. And I said, "Here's your opportunity. It's in front of you." And that's what we've been like focusing on. You know what I mean? And it's that being said, I mean there's a big task in front of us. I mean, just like South Range last year. I mean, this team is just as good as they are. They're going to get after us, and it's going to be a great challenge for our girls. And I'm hoping our girls are up for that challenge tomorrow night.
I love that you brought up last year. Obviously, you guys fell in a really competitive game. I don't think a lot of people even thought it would be competitive, but you guys showed up really well, gave South Range a fight, but fell. How hungry did that make this team to kind of, okay, we got there, we know what it tastes like, but now we want to actually eat the whole meal and
And
get
that's
the district championship?
what they've been talking about. That's what they talked about all April, May, June, July last year. And they knew the opportunity they had last year, and this is what they wanted. You know what I mean? And it's like I told them, I said, "There's nothing I can tell you as a coach going into this game that I haven't told you guys all year. We're not changing anything. We're not going to do anything differently. We're going to go play Brookfield Lady Warriors basketball, and that's how it's going to be. You know what I mean? And it's going to be on them to say, hey, how much do you want it? Are you going to be able to take that first punch from them tomorrow, and how are you going to react to that?"
Confidence going into the tournament is so important. Towards the end of the year, you had a win at South Range. How much confidence did that give your team to win on the place where they lost last year and to beat a team that they knew that they might see in the tournament? And how much confidence, because I knew that was a point of the season where there was a little bit of a lull. I believe you lost 2 the week before that. So how much
Yeah,
confidence
we
did that win bring to you guys?
yeah we lost the champion at home. We went to champion and lost, and we lost to Garfield that Monday, and then we went to Newton Falls Wednesday and won, and we went to South Ranch the next night, and it was a battle. I mean, Coach Fischel, he does a great job. One of the best coaches around, best dressed and best coaches, by the way. Um, but it's to get ready for his teams. I told our girls it's going to be a physical game, and I think that helped us down the road. You know what I mean? We went that Saturday and played at Crestview, and it helped us. I'm hoping that helps us tomorrow night against Liberty, because I'm sure they're going to be getting in us a little bit tomorrow night, and hopefully that physicality of that game, they remember that and they're able to handle South Range's pressure, and hopefully that it helps them tomorrow night against Liberty.
When you talk to your team in the last night and then this last practice today, what's going to be like the overarching message that you try to give out, and what kind of things are you trying to just tweak? I mean, I know there's not a lot to change in these 2 practices before a district championship game, but what kind of things did you maybe see in the last 2 games that you want to try to improve on a little bit or try to change a little bit before you guys go into the championship?
I think just overall it's just our execution end of it. You know what I mean? Sometimes we get trigger happy and start firing up shots, and we've been preaching on them. Hey, let's get a couple passes here. You might get an easier shot, and that's going to be my focus today going in. We're going to talk a lot of defense also today, because they're three-headed monster plus Banks is hard to guard, especially for us, because it causes us some matchup problems. So we're going to be stressing some defense today, watching some film and little things like that.
Coach, one of the things that I want to talk about also is the league that you play in. The top 4 teams are all playing for a district championship this weekend. Talk about what it's been like in this MVAC and how much it really has prepared you for tournament play.
It's huge. I mean, for us 4 to be here, it's awesome. I've said it since the beginning of the year. I feel like we're the best conference in Northeast Ohio, and I think that shows, especially Division III wise, when you got all 4 of us in a district title. It says it pays a lot. It shows a lot about our coaching and the teams we have in there, and it's awesome. It's an awesome feeling that we get to represent our conference this way.
I know your community support is strong, and they don't need any reasons to get down to Struthers. But if there's anyone watching that for some reason hasn't decided if they want to go to Struthers on Saturday, what's your call to action to your Brookfield fans to get down there and support you guys?
The girls need them, and this might be the best game all year that we've played and they've played, and it's going to be a battle. And it's going to be a Brookfield old-fashioned battle, and it's hopefully, we come out on top, and it's going to be fun to watch, and hopefully, I've been rallying the troops up. Hopefully the whole town comes out tomorrow night.
When you look at not just the support you get from the community, one of the things that I want to let you kind of talk about before we let you go, a good program has to have good support from the administration as well. And I know Brookfield, from the AD to the superintendent, supports you and everything you want to do and supports this program, pours into it. Talk about what the school system has meant to you, being a coach under it, and how much being under this administration has meant to you trying to build this program.
I mean, I'm a graduate. I graduated in 1999 from Brookfield. I bleed blue and gold. It's tremendous that I got the opportunity to coach there, and I thank Mr. Gibson every time I see him, and he does a great job as our superintendent. He's doing some great things out there. Our athletic director Tim Taylor has been there forever, and he's one of the best ADs around. Anything I need, and he coached me in high school basketball, and anything I need or I need advice or something, I go to him, talk to him, and he sets me in the right direction. Our high school principal, Kristen Foster, who is a coach's wife, her husband is the head coach at Niles. She knows what I go through on a daily basis, and every time I talk to her, if I got an issue, she understands, because she's been on the other side of it. Her father was a coach also, so she's seen both sides. So, and the teachers at the school, I feel we got the best teachers in Trumbull County, and that goes a long way. And they're very supportive. They'll send emails, or they tell the girls, great job, and our girls love that stuff. So it's a great community. It's a great school district from the top to the bottom.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and preview this district championship game and give us some insight on what's going on in that Brookfield program. We wish you the best of luck, and hopefully next week we can get you on to talk about a district championship game and a regional qualifier.
All right. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you for all you guys do.
You got it, Coach. Coach Ken Forsyth, the head coach of Brookfield girls basketball, preparing for a district championship game on Saturday against Liberty. And both these district championship games that we've talked about so far, matchups between conference rivals that split in the regular season. Brookfield split with Liberty, of course. And I now I'm second guessing myself. I don't remember if they won on each other's court. Now I'm thinking that Brookfield won at home and Liberty won at home. I could have been wrong there. But they split each other either way. And really, the game that Brookfield won, they controlled that game. They controlled the tempo. They controlled the physicality. And it was pretty much theirs from the wire to wire. I don't think Liberty ever led in that game. They cut a big 15 lead down to maybe 6, but they never led. So it'll be interesting to see what adjustments both teams make in this district championship game. Obviously, it's the only loss on Liberty's schedule, as Coach Forsyth said. They're going to be very motivated to avenge that only loss. They'll have a chance to do that. We're going to talk to Coach Watson about it at 1 o'clock from her point of view and see what the Leopards are going to do to try to counteract what Brookfield wants to do on Saturday. And we have a comment in the comment section about, on the boys' side, that they're, of course, have been the Camel-Ursuline matchup 5 in a row. And, Camel and Ursuline, they're two teams that have a very good chance of getting to a district championship this year as well. They're both in the sectional finals. Ursuline's going to travel to Marlington tonight, and Camel is going to be hosting a sectional final. And speaking about Camel, a little bit later in the show as well, we're going to play a senior send-off is what Ty called it. He got about 2 or 3 minutes from each senior after their win on Tuesday to try to give them one last go, and we're going to play that for you. It's on YouTube as well. It's also on the website. If you go to the last Camel game story, you can find it there as well. But we're going to play that for you, and we're also going to right now actually going to play a little bit of baseball. Week 2 of Coach's Corner with Dan Bernalini from the YSU baseball program there. Got the weekend series win last week, and we're going to play his interview now, and then we'll be back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
What's up, Penguin Nation? Richard Giuliano, Anthony Romo, and joined by head coach Dan Bertolini after a big series victory over Bethune-Cookman last weekend to open up the season. Coach, thanks for coming back on here this week.
Yeah, excited to be back.
And a big weekend for you guys up ahead with Belmont, but before we get into that, we're going to talk about Bethune-Cookman in that series, just talk about what it felt like to get back out there. It was a beautiful weekend in Florida. It's clear skies and sunny all weekend. So just talk about playing baseball down south.
Yeah, it was great. It was great to finally get out on the field and play somebody else, just to see the ball outside. I thought Friday night we were pretty nervous. I thought, it's just different seeing we always play our first game under the lights too, so that adds that extra element in there. But I thought our guys did a good job. We battled. Their Friday guy threw the ball really well and gave us some fits, and we were able to bounce back on Saturday and Sunday. So, they do a great job down there. Johnny does a great job, and that's a beautiful facility. So it was a good way to start the season. Happy that our guys bounced back on Saturday and Sunday to get those wins. They aren't always easy. We did it both ways. We came from behind on the first game, and then we held on late in the second game. So I think it showed some real character from our team and the type of team that we have.
Now, you guys are going to have a really good lineup this year. Outside of game one, of course, there's going to be some rust you got to knock off, 4 hits, but you had 10 hits in both Saturday and Sunday's games. So just talk about the lineup and how consistent they were on Saturday and Sunday.
I mean, I really feel like our lineup's really strong top to bottom, and probably 2 of our better guys, didn't have a ton of production, Austin Earl and Don Bucco. And for our offense to still be able to score runs and generate runs and be able to, move the ball around, I thought that was big. I thought, Braden O'Shaughnessy had a really great weekend. Steve Desonia, his games 2 and 3 were incredible. Lucas Destani was on base all weekend. Some big hits, push bunt hits. The bottom of our lineup kind of moved the ball around and scored some runs for us. So I think it just shows that the depth of that lineup, and hopefully we'll continue to get better and better as the year goes on.
Mm-hmm. So take me back to after game one, Coach. Like Richard said, you guys only had four hits in that game. Just talk about the resiliency of your team. I mean, they came back in a huge way the next 2 games, put a lot of runs up on the board. Just what were you happy with, just how they bounced back?
Yeah, I really think opening night's sort of a wash. You're just happy to be out there. Some years it's really good. Some days, it's not. So I think we just took away hey, we're just getting the experience, getting our feet wet, getting back into the box. And I knew that we would be better on Saturday and Sunday, and I could just tell in batting practice on Saturday was a lot cleaner and crisper, and then Sunday was probably our best day overall on the field. So we just told them after the game on Friday, hey, that was a good game. It was a good baseball game, 3-1 game. We were one swing away from tying the game in the 9th, even though we felt like we weren't playing our best baseball and our hitters were a little frustrated, but I said at the end of the day, we're one swing away from tying the game as bad as we felt. So we felt really good on Saturday and Sunday that we're going to have a chance to win.
And from your standpoint as a coach, you've been with the game of baseball for so long. Even with the amount of years you've been within the game, do you still get nervous before that first game?
Yeah, I think if you don't, I don't know if you're doing the right things. I wouldn't say nerves. I'd say it's more, being anxious to see kind of all the hard work that the guys have put in to see it pay off. But I'll tell you what, I've been around the game for a long time, and I always say, I think I've seen everything. I saw some things this weekend that I've never seen before. So the game will do some crazy things.
Second big win for your program on opening weekend. You beat Houston 2 years ago, who's a top 35 team in the country. Now you take on Bethune-Cookman and beat them, who's historically a really good program. They were about a win away from winning their regional a couple of years ago. So talk about how big this was for your program to come out on top in week number 1.
Yeah, I think that's the maturation process of our team and kind of where we are now to where we are, where we were 2 or 3 years ago. It was just, our guys expect to win. And I think in years past, we might have found ways to lose those games, or we're down 5 runs early. We probably, kind of start to pack it in a little bit, and just building that culture of winning, having that success in 20 and then, obviously having success in 21. I think that's gone a long way for these guys to have belief in each other, because this is a totally new group. There's a lot of new faces out there, a lot of guys that have been here but haven't had that experience, and for them to be able to fight through the adversity and to be able to come back and hold on and not panic, I thought, that's going to go a long way for where we want to be.
Now, there's one guy in your lineup in particular I kind of want to touch on, and that's Steve Desonia, who had such a big weekend. Last year, he kind of dealt with some injuries to his shoulder and had an off year, but how big was it for him to bounce back in that opening weekend and gain some confidence? I think he had 6 or 7 hits over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, he's a leader on our team. He's a tremendously hard worker, and for him, he's a nursing student, so he's doing 12-hour shifts during the week, just so he doesn't have to do them on the weekend, so he can be with us. And last year it was a shame because he started out really hot. He had a couple home runs opening weekend over the first 2 weeks. I think he still hit 6 home runs, and he tore his labrum on the fourth weekend of the season. So, and he played through it the entire year. I think that really, at times it limited him on what he was able to do. So we could see it in the fall. He's looked a lot healthier. Swing was, back to where it was in 2020. And, I really expect him to have a major impact for our offense.
So looking forward to this weekend against Belmont, having back-to-back weekends where you guys have to jump on a plane and go down south. Is that taxing mentally on your players, or is it something that they can just overcome as the season goes on and they get used to?
Yeah, I think this will be the tell for this year. That second weekend, you get the juices are flowing opening weekend. You got all the excitement now. Can we do it again this weekend? Can we get on a plane and fly, get up early, travel? That's going to be the challenge that I'm going to give those guys today. In our post practice meeting is, can we keep that intensity and be ready to go for this weekend? But not too often do I ever get on an airplane and fly somewhere and don't feel good about where I'm going. So I know that exciting part of getting on a plane and getting that opportunity to do that is special. We don't take anything for granted. So I'm sure our guys are ready to go.
And anywhere where you're going down to nice weather, I mean, it always boosts up the.
Well, this week might be a little colder than last week, but yeah, it'll be better than it'll be here. So that's for sure.
So we touched on your lineup. Let's talk about the pitching staff this weekend. I mean, your bullpen was just terrific. We just had Nate Ball on for the player profile. He struck out 5 out of the 7 guys. Nick Perez came in for 4 and a third and struck out 6 guys and got the victory on Saturday. Just talk about those guys and their transitioning roles, because Perez was the guy last year who started almost every Sunday game. So talk about how happy you were that they were able to transition into a new role and succeed the way they did.
Yeah, that was one of the things we talked about in the beginning in our last one. I thought the strength of our team was going to be, our pitching staff and our bullpen, especially. I think our starting pitching's, excellent. Matt Brodsky threw the ball incredible on Sunday as well. But for us to win, and that's when we talked to some of our guys, outs, 24 through 27 are the hardest 3 outs to get in baseball. So no matter how well your starter throws, like you saw it on Sunday, Matt throws a great game, but they find ways to chip back, and you got to give the ball to Nate to get those last 3 outs. So, I thought Nick Perez was fantastic. That was big for him to come back. He had some good starts here and there last year. I think he won 3 games, but the consistency wasn't quite there. I think moving him to the bullpen really helped, him to be a little freer, to really kind of hump up his fastball a little bit. He had to show an increase in velocity, and the breaking stuff's come a long way. I thought Kenny Missick got a huge out for us, coming in, getting a fly ball to right, keeping that guy in from scoring. I thought Brandon Matthews probably had the biggest moment of the weekend. Bases loaded, 1 out, comes in, throws a breaking pitch, gets a ground ball to third, we turn a double play. Those moments are some of the moments that don't get a lot of credit, but they were huge for us. And all those pieces are going to be really fun to figure out how it works as we go on.
And talking to Coach Manel, he emphasized the little details and the small things that would get you guys victories, like when Lucas Nasani had that base hit into right field that went off of the second baseman's glove, and he gets all the way around to third. Not many players would do that, but heads-up base running like that, just small little things like you said with a double play were the big things in the end that won the weekend for you.
Yeah, the other guy I thought through the Casey Marshowitz was very good. Maybe not quite as sharp on Friday, but came back and threw some big innings for us on Sunday. But yeah, all those little tiny, there are no little things. That's what we tell our guys. There's no little things. They all are big. Because when you add all those things together, it's the difference between winning and losing. And, there's some things we got to clean up. Base running will be better as we get reads on balls and being able to see the ball outside. We'll get a little bit better with that stuff. We're going to clean it up defensively. That's one area that we have to continue to improve on. I think just the speed of the game and getting ground balls in live game situations put some pressure on us. But we'll get better this week and looking forward to going into week 2.
Now, in week number 2, you got the 4-game series instead of 3 games like last week. So you're going to have to add an extra pitcher into the starting rotation, and Chad Coles is going to be that guy.
Yeah. He got a couple opportunities last weekend. I think we probably pushed him a little too long on Sunday, but we've been kind of grooming him to be that starter. So we'll have him in rotation with Travis and Matt and John. So looking forward to seeing him get his opportunity to be on the mound. It's just another quality arm that's going to be able to get out there and hopefully give us an opportunity to win.
There's going to be some really good competition this weekend. When you look at Belmont, their pitching staff is loaded with top 10 guys in the OBC for draft prospects. They had 3 guys that threw shutouts in their opening weekend. So just talk about the challenges of Belmont this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, I mean, they have 4 starters that are all, very talented. Their Friday night guy's going to be 92, 93 at times with good breaking pitch. They do their catcher does a great job of blocking and throwing guys out, holding runners, so it's going to be difficult on that part of it. Anytime you're facing left-handed pitching, especially 3 lefties, they're 2, 3, and 4 are all left-handed. So I don't care if you throw 90 or you throw 70, it makes it difficult. They just have a different element. But they're all quality arms. They don't walk a lot of guys. They're in the zone. They get some strikeouts. They get some weak contact. So we're really going to have to stick to our game plan. I love our lineup. So, I feel like anytime we can get, those guys to the plate, we're going to have opportunities to score, but we're going to have to play good defense. This is going to be a well-coached team. Dave does a great job there. And I think we played them in 2018, played a great series that weekend. We won the Friday game and they won the next 2. So we know it's going to be very much like facing a conference opponent, and look forward to the challenge.
Back-to-back series to start the year against 2 very, very quality programs. Just how much do these matchups get you guys ready for conference play?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the whole goal of this is not only, we want to win, but we also, want to develop, and we want to challenge ourselves. So when we get into opening weekend against Purdue Fort Wayne, we're prepared to go in and compete. And if you look around the Horizon League, our league does exceptionally well out of conference. I mean, we got, I think Oakland won a series at Bakersfield. Milwaukee won. I think they swept their series. UIC won a game in New Mexico. So we're going to be, this is a tough conference, so we have to play good opponents to get us prepared for that.
And are these 2 first weekends of the year per se the ones that tell you the most about your team, or is it one of those things that you kind of gradually find out as the year goes on?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway was that we were able to win those last 2 games after not playing as well as we liked on Friday night. But I think part of this is for this team specifically is going to be getting the reps. As these guys, some of them haven't had those kind of quality play every single day. So this is going to have opportunities for them to play every day. And also for us to really figure out the pieces in our bullpen of where they fit and how we're going to use them. Last weekend we didn't use as many arms because our guys, threw the ball really well. This weekend with 4 games, we'll have an opportunity to probably get some other guys some opportunities and see kind of where they fit in.
You said how getting outs 24 through 27 are some of the hardest things to do in baseball. Having 2 games where they came right down to the wire, well, 3, but 2 of them you guys came out on the right end. Just how much does that build the confidence of you guys, not only on the field, but the guys in the dugout that see that, okay, our presence here from the dugout, cheering on the guys, keeping their heads up, can really help out our team throughout the game?
Yeah, I mean, but really both games we held on to the lead late. We were down 5 early, come back. And that was the message, like, hey, no panic. This is a long game. If you're down 5 in the second inning, we got a lot of time to just chip away and keep coming back. And I think we scored 7 runs in an inning, and, that was really all we needed. But I think it gives us a lot of confidence that on Sunday, it wasn't pretty. The 9th inning was not a pretty inning. But we found a way to get the last 3 outs of the game to conserve the win. And so I think that's big for us moving forward.
And being in so many close games last year and then obviously having some nail-biters in the 2020 shortened season, do you think that the experience of some of you guys really helped you out towards the end of these games today, or every season kind of that reset button's hit and everyone kind of has to gradually get back that confidence that they had from past years?
I think it's like a culture thing. It just kind of gets passed down. The guys that are on the team from this year, saw the way that we handled ourselves last year, and that's just the expectation now. Coach Corby actually, he mentions, this is the new normal. We're not going back. So for our guys, this is the new normal. Like, we expect to win close ball games, and I think that's kind of where our heads are at, moving forward.
Berto, we appreciate you coming on for another week, and good luck this season, and good luck this weekend. A big one in Nashville, although it's going to be a little chilly. It's going to be 45.
Yeah, bundle up, baby. Bundle up.
I know you always wear your short sleeves.
I'll be short sleeves.
You'll be short sleeves. And you can catch the first game Friday at 5 o'clock. We'll have it here on ysnlive.com. This was another Coach's Corner brought to you by Baird Brothers.
That was Coach's Corner with Dan Bernalini, the head coach of the YSU baseball team. You can catch him in action tonight on YSN at 5 o'clock, as Richie Giuliano just said. If you missed a part of that or any of that and you want to see it in its entirety, head over to ysnlive.com. It's all up there, along with a player profile with Nate Ball, which we aren't playing today, but you can go to ysnlive.com to see that in its entirety as well. So make sure to head over to our website and check out all the wonderful content that's up on that page right now. We have the coaches' corners that we've already had this week, all up there as well. You can hear from Jeff Brink. You can hear from Josh Upshire from Badger getting ready for their game tonight in Lisbon. You can hear from Champion and Michael Cole as they get ready for tomorrow right now. You can hear from Sophia Hook, who had a wonderful player profile yesterday. So just make sure to head over to our site, ysnlive.com, get caught up on all the content that we've put up already, and get ready for an awesome weekend of sports. We are going to take another break on Running Point. When we get back, we'll get ready for a conversation with Deidre Watson, the head coach of the Liberty Leopards girls basketball team. Another coach getting ready for a district championship game this weekend. We'll hear what she has to say next on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-res futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Jimmy Sutton here, director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig here, and I am solo if you're just joining us. Ty Bartell, like so many people in Portage County today because of the weather storms and some of the tree damage that got caused by heavy winds last night. He's dealing with some power outages, so he's not able to hop on today, but he'll be back on Monday. So just me, myself, and I bringing you Running Point today. Once again, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We are anxiously waiting Deidre Watson, the head coach of the Liberty Leopards, to come on. But while we wait, why don't we go over some of the games that are happening tonight here for boys sectional finals and one girls district championship tonight on the network. I want to remind everybody that games, district or sectional, can be bought for $9.99 on ysnlive.com. Head over to ysnlive.com/live. Check out the games that we'll have tonight there. And then $9.99 gets you access to not just the game that you're clicking on, but also all the tournament games in action tonight. One payment of $9.99 gets you the access to everything. And like always, we want to reiterate, make sure you know what you're paying for. Make sure you double check and make sure it's $9.99. You're getting it from YSN. We've had a couple of people have problems with accidentally subscribing to things that pop up as advertisements on our website, et cetera, et cetera. We also have, unfortunately, there are some weird people that like to post fake links on Facebook. So make sure you don't follow any of those links and you don't pay for anything that isn't ysnlive.com. So you're not paying extra for your game. Some of the games tonight, East will be traveling to Cheney as it's a brawl in Youngstown. Jamie Thompson's going to have the call there. Louisville hosts Canfield. That's going to be a heck of a game over there in Louisville. 7 o'clock tip there. Bob Burrick on the call. And as we always say, in the Burke Next, great call in the Burke Next from Louisville. We're going to have some fun down there. Anthony Romo, who will come on the show in a little bit to talk about all these boys games and all the madness going on in the area this weekend. He'll be in Springfield as the Tigers, they host East Palestine in the sectional championship. South Range upset Pymatuning Valley on the road on Tuesday, and they will now travel to Liberty to face the Leopards tonight. 7 o'clock tip there. Alec Caberna will have the call in Liberty. Crestview boys, they travel to Cardinal Mooney, and that'll be a good one in Youngstown. Larry Scragg making the trip to cover Crestview, normally doing Crestview home games, so we thank him for hitting the road and going and doing the game at Mooney. It should be a fun one. If you haven't seen Hergenrother play, Mick Hergenrother is something special for Mooney, and he's got a lot of quickness. He can do a lot in transition, get his own shot off the dribble, and then it'll be against a Crestview team that rebounds the ball exceptionally well. Jack Yerke does a lot of work in the paint, and they're one of the best rebounding teams in the MVAC. I'm sure the stats would back me up on that. They rebound well every year, one of the staples of their team. Conneaut will be traveling to Jefferson, and Noah Ricks is making the trip to Ashtabula County. We hope he has a safe journey because, of course, up in that realm of the state, they're all dealing with some weather, as we have said before. Ty Bartell with some power outages, so we hope that up there in Ashtabula County, they're okay up there in Jefferson. Southeast will be traveling to LaBrea. Brian Oatridge will be on the call there as the Pirates invade the Vikings. And LaBrea last week, they beat Springfield, they beat Liberty, then they had to play their third game in 4 days, fell to Howland on Monday, but then they come into the tournament. They're coming in very confident. Aiden Stevens and Trayvon Drake, they're going to have something to say about Southeast upset bid. So we'll see how that goes at 7 o'clock. Once again, Brian Oatridge will have the call. Rootstown travels to Camel. Rootstown with the win in Columbiana to upset the Clippers. And now they try to play spoiler. Camel Memorial, they're trying to really take advantage of the window they have 8 seniors on the team, and they got to feel like in Devil Country that this is it. This is their chance to make a deep run in the playoffs. It starts tonight. They got to get this win against Rootstown to kind of take a breath and, get started in the tournament. So we'll see how that goes. Ty Bartell, he's going to be traveling there, so he'll have the call in Camel. Fairport will travel to Warren JFK. Dom O'Brien making the trip there as the Eagles try to get back to regionals for the second time in a row. Valley Christian, they'll travel to Lowville. It'll be Eric Hughes on the call in the Rockets gym. Valley Christian, they're trying to pull off the upset. We'll see. Badger will travel to Lisbon, and the big matchup here is going to be Badger's height against Lisbon's really impressive guard play. Trevor Sifke's put on a show all season for Lisbon, but he'll have a tough time driving into the lanes against the trees in Badger. They have multiple players over 6'2". We talked to Coach Upshire about their height advantage earlier in the week on the show. Once again, you can find his Coach's Corner on ysnlive.com. But it's going to be a good matchup between two teams that play different styles of basketball. Brookfield and their high-flying offense will try to go to Heartland Christian and get the win. Brookfield beat them not too long ago. And this, I would be shocked if this wasn't a high-scoring affair. Both offenses can really roll with it. Pawlowski for Brookfield. Everyone knows Berdovich from Heartland Christian. Johnny Buckets, as we like to call him here at YSN. He'll put on a show, and this should be a game that, first to 75, wins one of those high-flying offensive brawls. The opposite might happen in Wellsville. They play really good defense, and they will be welcoming in Western Reserve, who had a good offensive display on Tuesday in their sectional semifinal game. They had 3 players with over 16 points, and it was led by Gabe Platt, who is coming back off a little injury that he had earlier in the season against Jackson Milton. So a full-strength Western Reserve team, maybe minus David Altier. I haven't been there, so I don't know if David Altier will be playing tonight, but still, Gabe Platt being reinserted into that lineup is a big boost for the Blue Devils. They'll go to Wellsville and try to beat the Tigers. We have Garfield traveling to Newton Falls. This is a MVAC gray tier rematch. Newton Falls, they played Campbell tough the first time, so they definitely have the athletes to compete. So don't forget they're also the reigning MVAC champions. So they know how to win, and Coach Simbach does a great job down there. We're going to see what they do against Garfield. Canton South will travel to West Branch. Another conference matchup on the boys' side on this Friday sectional final day, as it's an EBC matchup. Canton South got the upset win over Girard in Girard on Tuesday, and they will now play West Branch for the 3rd time this year. Howland in their big Anthony Masucci senior. I have to correct myself. On Wednesday, we were talking about Anthony Masucci, and I mistakenly called him a junior. Anthony Masucci is a senior. He will lead his Tigers team into Struthers. Man, this Wildcats team, they are very, very familiar with playing close games. I feel like this one will be close, but I feel like the Struthers advantage is their ability to win close games this season. We'll see how that shakes down in the Fieldhouse. Very hard place to go and win. Another hard place to go and win is Poland, and that's what Streetsboro will have to try to do. They will go to Poland in the Fieldhouse and try to upset the Bulldogs. The Poland students will have your coverage in the last home game of the year for the Poland boys either way. And then we go to the girls basketball realm, and it is West Geauga. They'll play Salem in the district championship game at Ashtabula Lakeside. West Geauga with the upset over Perry to get into the district championship game. It robs us of the amazing story that it would have been if Salem would have been playing Perry with revenge on the mind. Everyone knows how that game ended last year, the district championship game. Not going to bring it up. Don't want to dredge up bad memories for Salem, but it would have been revenge on the mind for the Quakers. But now it's just championship on the mind. That's all that's on the mind of this Quakers team. They got the win on Wednesday. Now they'll play on Friday. This is the one game in our area that's Division 2 through 4 that's being played today. That is because Lakeside has some cheerleading event that they're going to be hosting on Saturday, a big cheerleading event, in fact. So they will not be able to host on Saturday, obviously. So they pushed this game back to Friday night. Salem versus West Geauga. 7 o'clock tip. DJ Yoakley will be traveling with the Quakers and have the call from the Dragon's Den in Lakeside. So those are all the games that are happening tonight on the network, and those are all being broadcasted at 7 o'clock. And once again, you can buy it for one easy payment of $9.99, gets you access to all the games. Tomorrow, we have 3 boys tournament games on the network as St. Clairsville will travel to East Liverpool. East Liverpool barely pulling out that win over Carrollton on Tuesday. So they'll try to bounce back, play a little bit better against St. Clairsville, another team that they've beaten in the regular season, but also it was close. Fitch will play Aurora. They will travel to Aurora at 7 o'clock tomorrow. And then Massillon, Washington will travel to Boardman. Boardman earning a home game with a win over Alliance on the road on Tuesday. We're going to bring in someone that is calling a game tonight, has seen a lot of boys basketball in the area this year, and is ready to talk about these tournament games. Anthony Romo, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today and kind of lift up Ty Bartell. He's dealing with some power issues.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really big night, boys hoops, playoff action. There's nothing better.
Nothing better. I know you've been kind of splitting your time between Springfield and Cheney this year, so we'll start with those 2 games. Obviously, both of them, Cheney and Springfield, are going to be big favorites tonight. We talked to Jeff Brink earlier in the week, and he just talked about taking it one step at a time. And this team, whether it be the players that are on the football team or the basketball team the last 2 years, have done a really good job through the regular season and through the tournament of not overlooking anyone and taking everything just one step at a time. What do you attribute that to, especially what you've seen during the basketball season, just the next game up for this team?
It's funny that you say that he mentioned that yesterday, because that's actually something that he's preached all year long. All my interviews I do with him, try to get it out of them. What are they looking ahead? What are the expectations? And he would always just say one game at a time. They have one step at a time. Their first step was the conference title. They clinched that a few weeks ago. Then sectional title tonight, district, regional, state. But it's so interesting, and it's so much fun to watch Springfield every time I'm there, because you have Adam Ware, who's one of the best scorers in the area. Then you have Bo Brungard, who just recently reached 1,000 points, also one of the best scorers in the area. But then you have Alex Rothwell, committed to Westminster, Jake Joyce, Sean Guerrero, Shondell Gardner, Brandon Price. The list goes on. There's so much depth on that Springfield team, and we'll touch on Cheney too in a little bit. Same goes for them. But Springfield, they're so level-headed. Like, it's so impressive to watch. But once you build a culture and a tradition of winning that Coach French built before Coach Brink came back on the basketball side, and Coach Guerrero's built on the football side, and then also with their baseball teams at Springfield, they win in every sport. Their girls basketball team's in the district final tomorrow, I believe, and their district semi, they won by like 40 points. They have a great girls soccer program. They win in everything. So I think that Coach Brink didn't really have to implement into the minds of his players too much about staying level-headed and not looking too far ahead, because they've been in this position in so many different sports, because Springfield's one of those smaller communities that a lot of their kids are playing 2-3 sports every year. So the winning tradition's built from the ground level up in little leagues, and all they do is win. Simple.
Robo, you talk to Coach Brink a lot, so you can answer this question, I think, better than anybody at YSN, because I think a lot of casual fans will kind of sit back and say, well, anyone could coach this Springfield team because they know what they're doing. And I think that's kind of short-sighted. I think it still takes a very good coach to come in and kind of bottle that talent and put them in positions to win. What do you think Coach Brink has brought to this team this year, and what kind of hands do you think he has in their success?
I think that the biggest thing that Coach Brink has brought to the Springfield team is that fire. He's one of the more laid-back coaches, and he hasn't – I don't want to say hasn't had to coach too much, because I'm kind of going away from what you had just said. But in a lot of their games this year, they've built up surmountable leads early on in the first half, where a lot of their JV kids are getting a lot of valuable playing time. But they've played the Ursulines, they've played Poland, they've played a lot of good schools this year. And Coach Brink really lets his players kind of play themselves on the court. He's a coach that doesn't take a lot of timeouts. He lets his guys fight their way through adversities. But if you get him to that point, where your head's not on straight, you're not doing what he expects you to do, he will explode. When he calls timeouts, he gets mad. But his teams always perform well out of timeouts. That's for sure. They only lost one game this year, and it was a game against a very good LeBray team that I wouldn't be surprised if they make a run of their own here in the playoffs. But Coach Brink, something that I'd say he's definitely brought to this team this year is that fire that, hey, I'm going to let you guys kind of play a little bit free. I know the skill set that you guys have. I know that you guys have been here before in these big games, but if you're not playing to the level that I expect of, I'm going to make sure you get to that level.
I think he's also, and this is this from watching and knowing that he is coming back home to Springfield, he's brought a little bit of a kind of family atmosphere to this whole community and this whole kind of program. Not that it wasn't there with Coach French, but it was like it's almost more structured this year. Like this guy's coming back home, and everyone kind of respects that he knows a lot about this program, and he loves the program so much he's not going to hurt it. And I think if you're going to replace Coach French with someone, I don't think there was anyone better than someone that has been through the program and is coming back home to Springfield.
Yeah, I think Springfield definitely hit the bullseye with Coach Brink, and he has so much passion for that community. He was preaching it after their win against Ursuline, a game I was at that I did with Richie, which, I mean, Richie's done his fair share of YSN games. I feel like he does like 3 games every night. We were talking about the other day, we just brought up high school hoops, and he was saying that was the most electrifying game he's done all year. Springfield was down by double digits in the fourth quarter. They came back and won. Coach Brink, he has such a passion for the community, and he preached that, like I said, in our one post-game interview. It's always good to have a good team like this, and wherever you coach, having players that he has at Springfield, but to have it in your hometown community, a school that you've coached at before, a school that he's coached a lot of good players at, he just loves being there. And I think that adds so much more enthusiasm to come to work every day and game plan and try to get your team to that next level, which last year this is a Springfield team that was in the regional semifinals. Coach decides to move on. Coach French decided to take a different step, and that's okay. He did his due at Springfield. He got them to so many district title games, so many regional games, and then Coach Brink comes in. He's trying to take them to that level where they haven't been in so long, and that's the regional championship.
You know, you did the Springfield game where they clinched the MVAC, and despite all the tournament success, it's counterintuitive, but this Springfield team hasn't won the conference in 6 years before this year. What do you think that meant to this program to kind of call themselves conference champions? I know that anyone would trade a district for a conference, but to kind of take care of business inside their own MVAC this time around.
I think it meant so much to them. And I had mentioned the title with Bo Brungard. I did a post-game interview with him of that game that they clinched the conference. And he was just saying how much it meant to him because obviously conference is just the first step into a huge goal that everyone has. But he was saying that, I mean, they've played in so many tough conference games through the past few years, and they've come out on the lower end by just this much so many times. And he was just saying how much it meant to him to finally get over that hump, get the conference title. And I mean, going out your senior year with the conference title, there's nothing better. It's one of those things that when you look back on your high school career, you can't say, oh, we came so close so many times. That's something that I wish I would have been able to accomplish. But I think that means so much. And I was sitting down with their athletic director, Mr. Carden, that game that they won it all. And he was just talking about how loaded this conference has been for the last few years. I mean, you have Zach Brazil and at McDonald. You have the bunch at Waterloo. I mean, a few years ago, it seemed like every player on their team was at least 6'5". They played so well. And then the list goes on. That's been such a good basketball conference. In Springfield, I'm sure they feel great that they can finally come out on top this year.
And this year it was kind of Lowville standing in their way with Lucente and Bonovsky, the two players that caused so many people problems. And this time around, Springfield was able to take care of business and get the MVAC win. They hope to get a sectional championship win tonight as they host East Palestine. Romo, you'll be there for the call. Obviously, it's a game where Springfield's going to be heavily favored. What do you expect to see out of this team to kind of take care of business and tighten the bolts per se in this game?
I expect them to come out of the locker room trying to jump on East Palestine early. It's something that Coach Brink kind of preaches out of his squad, that don't leave any room for error. Don't leave anyone any confidence on the table. Do not turn the ball over too much. Take care of the ball. Take care of the fundamentals. You just want a clean game, especially these early few rounds in the playoffs. You don't want to kind of have a lot of these close games where you don't know if your head's completely on straight and then you're at to go in and play a Camel or whoever it may be. You want to make sure that you're covering all the bases here in these first few games. But, I mean, don't take East Palestine lightly. You know as well as anyone, Anthony, you've followed South Range, a very good girls basketball program, and they've played in a lot of big games. Once playoff basketball comes, it's a totally different slate because everyone knows that at any time this could be their final game. So those teams that may not have had the best record in the regular season, they're definitely going to bring their A game into playoffs. And Springfield, they opted in to play that first round game. East Palestine has a lot of rest. They might catch Springfield a little bit offhanded early on because they've had so much rest and they've been able to really stabilize this game plan for tonight.
Basketball, all it takes is one kid to have a good shooting night and just kind of go off, and that can lift a team. And
Like
no
Fitch.
matter what your record is, like
Fitch
Fitch.
the other night, they beat a Dover team that only had one loss coming into the playoffs. Anything is possible come late February, early March.
And we talked about this earlier. We'll say it again. According to Max Preps, that was 156 Fitch against 6 Dover in the state in Division I.
Crazy. I think I'm just so proud of our Division I team so far. I know Harding's not a YSN school, but they are also a Valley school, and that's we no matter if they're a YSN school or not, we root for our Valley schools. I mean, we want all our teams to get to Dayton. All our Division I schools won their first round games. Boardman beat Alliance. That was a very good game, and then Fitch coming out on top against Dover. I think that those schools really set an example because when you look at the Youngstown area, those are the first schools you look at. When you look closer, you see how good we really are with some of our smaller schools. But if you're just a casual fan, you're looking at Division I first, and our Valley schools are representing very well.
When you look at the wins for Boardman and Fitch, kind of opens the door for them to get into districts because now they're playing the more favorable matchup that was really set up for the higher seed to go in and host 2 games. Fitch still has to travel, but it's against 25th seeded Aurora, and Boardman earns a home game against Massillon, Washington.
Yeah, those are 2 very storied programs in the state of Ohio. When you think of Aurora and you think of Massillon, you think of great athletics. I mean, just going up and looking at their facilities, I went to Aurora, been able to go there a few years ago, was able to watch a first round game. And then obviously Massillon, I announced a state championship game there. They have 2 of the best facilities in the state, but that doesn't say anything about our athletes. I mean, Boardman gets the home game, Fitch has to travel. I think that they have some of the most confidence out of any schools in the area, being able to take down 2 higher seeds. And like you said, it's a confusing type of bracket for the naked eye when it comes to basketball because the seeds always don't match up and it's weird. But I think the confidence is at an all-time high.
When you look at Cheney, let's move to them now, the other team that you get to cover a lot on YSN. They're going to be playing East tonight, and this is a rivalry. You know, it's a Youngstown brawl. Record-wise, once again, it might look like Cheney has the favorite, but I wouldn't count on an East team that's coming in hungry. I mean, coming in very hungry to this game.
East always has athletes. Doesn't matter what their record is. You're going to have to bring your A game every time you play them because at the end of the day, a team with a lot of athletes can really sometimes overtake the skill per se. If you have athletes that want to play on the defensive end and want to get in the passing lanes and force turnovers, you can get that higher skilled team off of their game plan. And then again, this is the 3rd time that they're going to play this year. Cheney got them on the upper end the first 2 times, but do not count out East. This is another team that's had a lot of rest. Cheney, I mean, let's be honest, they just rolled through Mogador Field on Tuesday night. But if I'm Cheney, I do not overlook East because they're going to come in hungry and they want to pull that upset.
And to be honest, I almost called you Richie Romo. This Cheney team has had times this season where they've kind of gotten into a little bit of a lull, and they've kind of, you're watching the game and you're wondering, what's this Cheney team doing? This isn't the Cheney team we're used to. You obviously, for that program, you hope that doesn't happen in tournament time, but there have been games this year where they have kind of come out kind of flat.
Yeah, and I think that dates back to how young this roster is. I mean, there's so much excitement when you come into Cheney and they hand you the roster and you look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's 6'5" and he's a sophomore. He's 6'6" and he's a sophomore. They don't have too many seniors on this team. And to say that they're a number 1 seed in Division II, something that they haven't been able to accomplish just yet. They've had that underdog mentality these first few years. To be number 1 seed this year, I'm looking at the comment, took me off my train of thought. To finally get that number 1 seed and not have that underdog type of mentality anymore, to have that everyone's coming for your back, everyone's coming for you. I think that Coach McGaughy's going to have his team ready to tackle this playoff push.
When you look at Cheney, when they're rolling, when they're at their best, what do you think is it that makes them so dangerous?
My bad. What'd you say? I was looking at the comment. I was. Can I touch on the comment first?
You can absolutely. You want me to bring it back up? I'll bring it back up for you too.
So as Joe said, credit to all the other D1 seeds. I think that that's something that is really cool about our Valley teams, that there are so many big rivalries here in the area. But once that playoff time comes and the divisions kind of settle themselves out, because a lot of our rivals here in the Valley aren't in the same divisions. I find it cool that whether it's football, baseball, basketball, softball, whatever it may be, the Valley kind of comes around our teams, the teams that advance the farthest. Everyone backs each other up, and that's what's cool going to these playoff games when you get kind of far in the tournament and teams get eliminated. There's kids with Letterman jackets from so many different schools that come out to support our other Valley schools.
Yeah, and when you look at, I mean, like, I think everyone kind of cheered when Fitch beat Dover, at least in this area, because it was one of those. That's Youngstown, you know. That's our area team going down there and showing everyone what we're about in this area.
That's the definition of grit. Valley schools may want to count us out on paper, but you have to come and play us for 32 minutes in basketball. We're going to come out. We're going to give it our best shot, and hopefully Fitch can keep going with this run. Like you said, they have a way more favorable matchup tonight than they had just the other night.
When we talked to Coach Beanie, he iterated this, and this is something we've talked about for a while. D1 so hard to seed because there's so much talent in D1. Especially when you get outside of the top 5, 6 through 20, pretty comparable in talent on the floor. How do you pick who's going to be? You pretty much have to go only on record. And Fitch's record doesn't look great, but you look at their scores against the teams they played, and it's like they lost this game by 2, this game by 1, this game by 3. They've just, it's a recipe for an upset.
I think Fitch has gained a lot of respect throughout Northeast Ohio throughout the first few months of the regular season this year because of the teams that they played. And it seems like whoever went into the seeding had a little bit of disrespect for Fitch. They didn't want to look at their schedule. They wanted to look at their record. And I guess poor Dover in this case had to pay the price of a very good Fitch team that has a lot of good athletes on that team. Devin Sherwood committed to Virginia. Joe Roth committed to Akron on the baseball side. Those are the only two. Those are the first two that come up in my head. I'm sure they have many more athletes on that team. But
Alan Underwood had a great game, led them with 18 points. And he's the one, remember, they hit the buzzer beater against Canfield to drive a dagger into the
That was a great call.
Too.
I forget who was on that call that game, but I think it was Ty.
Ty gets all the big games, Ty gets all those buzzer beaters. It's like he's a buzzer beater magnet.
Bring that last comment back up too. I don't know if you popped that one up. So which Valley team do we think has the best chance to beat St. V's? That's a hard one. I was able to announce a St. V's game this year. Cheney played St. V's at Cheney. I was there for that game. If both those teams continue their winning ways, Cheney will play St. V's. What's that?
I have to lean towards Cheney because they're the only team that's played them. So at least there's a little bit of familiarity there.
Cheney, there was under a minute remaining in the first half, and Cheney had taken the lead against St. V's on their home court. And that was an absolutely electric atmosphere. St. V's on their side, they had Sincere Harris, who's committed to Illinois, Raymar Pryor, who's committed to Cleveland State. And it's that brand of basketball over there is like just insane. I would say Cheney, because they're going to be able to have another match with them if they continue to win and they would play in the regional semifinals. But another team that I would love to see face off against St. V's would be Camel. I mean, obviously we don't have that chance because they're in different divisions.
Right.
But if you remember, Kevin Moore comes back to Camel from Akron Buchtel last year, who, I mean, that's type of a city series between them and St. V's. So he has experience playing against those guys. And I think Camel will be a school that I kind of wish we were able to see them play St. V's. But out of the remaining Division II teams we have left, I would say Cheney.
And Camel beat Cheney as well this season. So
yeah,
the Red Devils are rocking. Unfortunately, they're in Division III, so they don't have to. Unfortunately for fans, probably fortunate for Camel.
Yeah.
They don't have to try to deal with St. Vincent St. Mary.
You look at Division III and down the line, Camel, they're going to have to face off against Lutheran East, who is like the St. V's of Division III here in the state
Every
of Ohio.
division has
Lutheran
that
East.
one team that you're like, oh man, here we go. You know, even in Division IV, it's
Richmond Heights.
Richmond Heights.
I mean, you look at it top to bottom, and Division I is one of those things where, like you said, it's so tough to seed because there's so much talent. I mean, you have Moeller on the west side of the state. You have Menor, St. Ignatius, St. Ed's. It's an absolute gauntlet. It is.
You bring up Camel, and earlier in the week, Ty was able to get a chance to speak to all their seniors as a whole in what he calls a senior send-off. 8 seniors on this Camel team. They each get about 2.5 minutes to just talk about their journey in Camel and everything that they've been through. I want to get a chance to play this as they get ready for their game tonight. They'll host in the sectional championship. Let's hear what these Camel seniors have to say, and then we'll be back to kind of recap and finish the show on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Welcome back, everyone, as I am here now with Senior Skavos Koros, the Greek freak is what they like to call him here at Camel Memorial High School. And Skev, just talking to you about tonight and just the senior night memories and this entirety of the specialness of tonight. Just talk to me first and foremost. We asked all of our seniors this. You guys all had to pick a specific teacher that inspires you. Who'd you pick and why'd you pick them?
I picked Mrs. Spada because when I came up here, she helped me a lot with, my language because I only knew Greek back then. And I had to learn English. And it was, pretty hard. And she helped me through the whole 4 years. And, yeah, she's great.
You're pretty fluent in English. And actually, I didn't even know that about you, Skev. Just talk to me about that journey, too. Coming here, you've been here for 4 years. I know that. But talk to me about that journey of coming here, having to learn a new language in high school, too. What has that experience been like? And just talk to me about the growth from freshman to senior year and what you're seeing now.
I mean, it was pretty difficult at the beginning, but I had a lot of people that helped me through it. My parents, of course, and my teachers are always looking out for me and make sure that I was doing good. And, yeah, throughout the years, it got better because I started, talking more to my friends, and it just became more fluent.
How has this basketball team, if it has, helped you along with that process from freshman to senior year?
Well, it helped me a lot, of course, because we do a lot of talking, you know what I mean, in practice. And, my teammates always look out for me, and it helped me through it.
You guys did a great job tonight. Just talk to me a little bit, first and foremost, about the experience of coming out through the through the paper signs. That was pretty cool. But also being able to walk off the last regular season game with the other 7 seniors of this team.
I mean, can you ask one more time real quick?
Yeah, no problem. Just what did it mean to you to be able to not only walk onto the court with the seniors today, but walk off for the last regular season game?
I mean, it was pretty emotional because it was going to be our last regular game, but I mean, I wasn't too sad because we have we have more games to go through, and yeah, that's about it.
2 final questions for you, Skev. First and foremost, just shout out some of your role models in the sport of basketball.
I gotta put Giannis out there, and
of course,
yeah,
of course,
and Russell Westbrook because that's how I feel like I play like.
Play a lot of the all-around game. I like that as well, too. And you have to put Giannis up there.
Yeah,
Deem the Greek freak. You have to.
I had to.
Final question for you, Skev. Just shout out your support system and some of those people that have been there every step of the way for you.
I got to shout out my parents, my friends, of course, and all my teachers have helped me throughout the season. And my teammates, of course. Can't forget about them.
As Scavos Coros, one of 8 seniors on this rockin' Red Devils squad, as they get ready for next Friday, they will host the winner of Rootstown and Columbiana. Scavos, thank you so much.
Thank
you. Welcome back, everyone, as I am joined now by Zach Luciano. As Zach joined us before earlier this season, he's gotten a player of the game nod earlier, but talking to him now in a senior send-off, first and foremost, Zach, the first question we've asked all of our seniors, what is the teacher you picked for the inspirational teacher? Why'd you pick him, and who'd you pick?
I picked Mr. Duran because he's been there for a while. He actually taught my brother for a while. So he's been there for a while, and then he taught me all throughout high school. So he kind of feels like a father figure to me. He's always been there, and I always talk to him.
Talk to me about the entrances you guys had to make to start the game. How cool was that, and how energized were you guys after that?
Oh, that was fun. That was nice. That was the first time I've ever did that, so it was a pretty awesome experience.
Talking about that, too, you guys also had the opportunity to not only you started, but you also walked off of the court with the other 7 seniors. Talk to me about that moment and what that meant to you here in your final regular season game.
That was very special because I never thought I would do that when playing with these guys from middle school. So it was a great opportunity to do that.
Talk to me about that bond and that chemistry you have with these other guys. Playing with them since middle school, how much has it really meant to you to be able to be a part of this ride the entire way through?
Very important. It's very important because I've known these guys growing up since about 4th, 5th grade. So there's only about 2 other guys missing. But other than that, this team is, very, very good.
2 other questions real quick for you, Zach. The first of 2 that I want to ask you is the role models question. Who are just some of your role models inside the sport of basketball that you want to shout out?
Role models? I kind of just take like bits and pieces from everybody. But mostly I look at Kyrie Irving and Stephen Curry because I like their Kyrie's handles and Curry shooting the ball. So I try to take their game and play.
You can definitely see that, too, exemplified on the court from you as well. Final question for you, not even a question at all, Zach. I want to just give you the opportunity to shout out your support system that have been here, not only every step of the way through high school, but every step of the way you've had in this basketball journey.
I want to shout out Reno. He's always been there for me my whole high school career. I want to shout out my brother. He's taught me a lot. He's always pushing me to do better and stuff. And I want to shout out to my dad. He's always been there. He goes to every game, really supports me.
Zach Luciano as a part of the 8 seniors on Camel Memorial's team as they get ready to host the winner of Rootstown and Columbiana next Friday right here at Camel Memorial High School. Catch all the 8 seniors then. Zach Luciano, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone, as I am here with senior Kristen James of the Camel Memorial Red Devils. And I'll start off with the first question because we've asked all the seniors this, and we're going to extend the question to all of them. The choice for the teacher that inspired you most, who'd you pick, and why do they inspire you?
I picked my English teacher, Miss Josh. She inspires because she push us and keep us going to school. Keep our heads on straight because what type of season we're having. So yeah, that's a big shout out to her.
One of the 8 seniors, you got the start tonight, and you were clipping threes early on in that first quarter. Just talk to me about what were you feeling with your shot tonight, and what it was like to get that crowd hyped up early on.
Yeah, I had my shot knocking down pregame, so I knew I was feeling it. And my teammates around me trusted me to shoot it, so I shot it. I let it go tonight.
Talk to me about what that moment meant to you leaving the court with the other 7 seniors for the last time in the regular season.
Oh, yeah, with them, we separated. I stayed, though, but for them to come all back, it meant a lot because I played middle school with them, so it meant a lot.
Talking about that, too, and the fact that these seniors came back, and the reasoning always is the family atmosphere, and you could tell with the chemistry you guys have. Just talk to me about how close you are with these guys, and really, how good this entire group has been this season. Just take us in the locker room a little bit.
Oh, yeah, we're really close. When they left, we never stopped talking. We just kept talking, texting, kept in contact with each other. So our chemistry, to bring it back, we did a lot of things, practice good, and we brought it back, on 21 games.
Who is some of your role models inside the sport of basketball?
I'm a defensive player. I like to watch Dennis Rodman. I like to play defense, clamp down.
Played great defense and locked it down tonight. I just want to, real quickly, before we let you go, CJ, shout out your support system and some of those people that have been there every step of the way for you.
Yeah, shout out to my mom, my sister, and all the seniors. They push us. We push each other hard to get to where we are right now today.
As Kristen James, one of the 8 strong seniors on this Camel Memorial Red Devils team. He's part of the historic 21-1 Red Devils in the 2021-2022 season. CJ, thank you so much.
No problem.
Welcome back, everyone, with senior Jacob Jackson here of the Camel Memorial Red Devils. And Jacob, just talk to me a little bit about just the experience of this season, being able to play with 7 other seniors. It's not an opportunity that a lot of guys get the opportunity to have, I should say. Just talk to me about what it's been like to be able to play with 7 other seniors this season and just this team, this community, and everything else around you.
It's just been great. You know, we have a great community. Everyone comes out to the games, every single game. 7 great seniors other than me, including me. I mean, and, you know, we had some kids come back this year that weren't playing for us other years, and they really just made a big difference this year. And it's been real fun.
How hyped were you coming out of that the start of the game too? They had a nice little celebration for you. You guys got to come out with a bang on the entrance. How cool was that for you?
Yeah, it was real cool. You know, I was a little nervous because I had to break my sign first. I didn't know how hard to push, how hard to break through. But
what was the strategy? Were you chopping, punching? How was that going?
I actually I started to open it a little bit before they started, and I made like a thing for me to push through.
Took a little peek too.
Yeah.
Wanted to eyeball the crowd. Jacob, we asked all of the seniors this. You guys all picked a teacher that inspired you. Who was your pick, and why do they inspire you?
I picked Mr. Lowry. Mr. Lowry is my science teacher. I have him for 2 classes this year, actually. I'm with him all day after lunch. You know, he comes to most of the home games. He's just always supported the team and really all the sports teams. And he's just been a great teacher for me. I've had him every year I've been at the school, I think. And he's just always been someone that's easy to talk to, and he's just a great guy.
Talk to me about being able to not only start this game, but finish it and walk off the court with the 7 other seniors, what that moment meant to you.
Yeah, it felt amazing. Obviously, this isn't going to be the last time that we walk off together, but it felt great. It felt great to start, hear the crowd cheering and all that, and I can't wait for the playoffs.
Who are some of your role models in the sport of basketball that you want to shout out?
I got to agree with Kevin and what Kevin said. You know, LeBron, just like for him coming up where he came up and all the stuff that he does for the community, I think it's just great. And, yeah, I'd say LeBron's the main one.
Last question for you, Jacob, then we'll let you go. Go ahead and shout out your support system and those that have been there with you every step of the way.
Shout out to my whole family. They're all over there. They come to every game. You know, I'm not playing as much as I used to last year because of all the people that came back, but they're still here. Still here every single game supporting me, and it's great.
That family is a part of that rockin' Red Devil crowd, and they get it rockin' every single night. Jacob Jackson, one of the 8 seniors on this Red Devil team. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome, everyone, as I'm back now. Senior Jameer Weaver. And Jameer Weaver, the point guard, I guess you could say, for this team, came into this game, I should say, averaging 5.1 assists, over 9 points a game, as a lot of offense to share the ball around, so still getting 9 points is something impressive. But talk to me a little bit, before we go in depth with some of these questions, just the assist margin, the points margin. What does it mean to you to play point guard? When did this kind of start coming, and how important do you take passing in this game as well?
It all started like when I first got to Camel. I was always the point guard. Then I went to Liberty, and I always had to like shoot the ball because like we ain't have like much as like talented players around us. Then I came here, and like there's a lot of like more talent, and I get to like share the ball like I always wanted to. So, yeah.
Talk to me about playing for this Camel community this year and how much they've supported you. They've gotten this gym rocking almost every game. Yeah. How exciting has it been to play for them this year?
Oh, it's been good. The fans always show love, the parents and everything. You know, we just love to come out here and play for them.
As one of the questions we've asked all of our seniors, I want to ask the same one to you. Who is the teacher that inspires you? Who'd you pick and why'd you pick him?
I picked Mr. Carney. He always showing love to us at lunch. You know, he basically brings like a big crowd for us and stuff. So yeah, he always showing love and stuff like that.
Talk to me about what it meant to you to get that moment with the other 7 seniors walking off the court with them one final time.
Oh, it was good. I love to. I started with him, so you know I love to finish with him. So it was good.
Who are some of your role models in the sport of basketball that you want to shout out?
I like Kyrie. Yeah, and I don't know. I like Hakeem Olajuwon.
You
Great
like
center though, but
you like the ball movement of Kyrie, and you like the finesse of Olajuwon down low. As far as our last question for you, Jameer, I'm just going to give you the opportunity to shout out your support system and those guys and gals that have been there every step of the way for
I
you.
want to shout out my mom, my sisters, just my family, my coaches, and my teammates.
As Jameer Weaver, the point guard that was able to pass the rock around and get Camel Memorial to 21 wins in a historic season. The senior point guard for the Red Devils, Jameer Weaver, thank you so much. Shout out your support system for me as you can and those people that have been there every step of the way for you.
My mom, my older brother, every game, Kevin, my best friend, Kristen, and that's about it.
Shout out one more time for me, too. The teacher choice you had for the one that inspired you most, why did you choose him, and what was it about him that inspired you?
Oh, I chose Mr. K because it was like the first day I met him, he came to the school. I came from Austintown. First day we clicked up, it was just positive, a lot of joking around, and ever since then, he was just my guy.
What is one thing you want to leave this Camel community with? Being the senior, what is a footprint you hope to have left with Camel Memorial High School?
The record and the team.
Talk to me. One final question for you. This has been a phenomenal crowd all season. It hasn't just been family. It seems like the entire community comes out for games. How important and how cool was it to have pretty much full on-deck crowds every single night cheering you guys on?
It was, I loved it for real because like years back, it really wasn't no people in the crowd. You feel me? So this year and everybody coming in the games, every single game supporting, it just felt good.
Kayvon Moore, one of the 8 seniors that helped put Camel Memorial basketball back on the map. 21-1 on the regular season, one of the seniors. Thank you, Kayvon.
Apologies for not being able to finish that, but actually, Coach Watson of the Liberty Leopards able to join us in the final hour of this show. Coach Watson, thank you so much for popping in.
No problem. Sorry I'm a little late. Got hung up here. Life happens.
Yeah, life does happen, but we're glad to get you for a couple of minutes at least to talk about your district semifinal win over Waterloo. This was a Waterloo team, came in with same kind of record as you, just one loss on the season. They were playing very confidently, but you took that tone early, took a 35-8 lead in the halftime. What did it take to set the tone, and what do you see from your girls in this win?
I just talked to my girls about focusing on the game. Don't worry about outside factors. It's tough coming into an atmosphere like Struthers, the crowd. And, I told them you want to be the true MVAC champs because it was a battle of MVAC champs, come and set the tone. They responded. They were solid, and I just couldn't be more proud of them.
I mean, it seemed like Demi Watson could not miss in that first quarter. She was making everything she put in. I mean, when you guys can start a game like that, what kind of confidence does it give you for the rest of the time in the game?
It's an excellent morale booster. I don't know if you noticed, but before maybe the last 2 games, Siena was on a tear. And so it seemed like from the beginning, that's where their focus was. We are lucky to have 3 elite players that if you focus on one, you never know what the other 2 are going to do. And so it was, Demi's day that day.
Now you have this rematch with Brookfield for the district championship game. You guys have split the regular season. They're the only loss on your schedule. What do you think about this matchup and how you guys, what kind of things do you guys have to do to get this win?
It's the same thing. Just stay focused. Don't worry about outside factors. It's going to be a battle of toughness. And, if you want to win, you got to come out there and you got to leave everything on the court. It's win or go home. And so, you don't have time for any mental lapses. Just playing a strong game, finishing to the end.
Coach, just coming into this district final matchup, it's obviously a game that not many high school players get to play. And just from the game's point in life going forward, just what are you going to do as a coach to make sure that your team not only plays hard, but kind of sinks in the moment and soaks it all up?
Yeah, I always tell my girls I never had the opportunity to play in a district final. I've had this will be my second time to coach, and just relish the moment. These years in high school go so fast. The coaches and I always joke about, you're going to turn around and you're going to be old and washed up and coaching basketball. So while you have the opportunity, just enjoy every moment. Play your hardest. You don't want to leave the court like, man, I could have did this, or man, I could have did that. Just leave it all out on the court, and just play solid basketball. Play the game like you know how to play it.
What would it mean to this program to get the win on Saturday and cut down the nets? I mean, especially when you talk about building the program and the young players that are going to see that moment if it happens. And what would it mean, do you think, as this program as a whole and the future of it to say district champions?
I mean, it would be excellent for Liberty girls basketball. This would be the first district championship. We want to solidify ourselves as a true powerhouse. And the past we've kind of been, overlooked, but we've been able to turn this program around. And I think a district championship would, solidify us.
Not overlooked this season in the slightest, Coach. You have been one of the best teams all year. Talk about, real quick before we let you go, the community support that you got for the district semifinal, and I'm sure the community support you're going to get for this championship game, and what that means to your program and what that means to your girls.
Our fans have been solid from the beginning. Girls basketball doesn't have as many fans as boys basketball. So I remember early in the season, one of the points the girls made were, well, why aren't they coming to our games? We have a good record. And I just told them, you know what, just keep your nose to the ground. Don't worry about the rest, and everything else will work itself out. I mean, our fans have been coming to support us. Shout out to Quick Med Urgent Care. They donated new uniforms to us. So the support has been coming. The coverage has been coming. And that's just, proven, just stay solid in what you're doing and the rest will follow suit. Quit worrying about outside factors and just play basketball.
They are slick uniforms too. I mean, look good, feel good, play good, right? I mean, that's
exactly. They always talk about swag. That's their term. I got to have some swag.
They got some serious swag, and they have some serious confidence going into this game, Coach. We wish you the best of luck. We hope that we can talk to you next week about a district champion and a regional qualifier that you'll be preparing for. Good thing that was the end of the interview, because technical difficulties just lost Coach Watson. Romo, thank you so much for taking the time also to join us for a little bit today. We'll pop her back in and give her a good send-off. Coach, sorry about that. Let's before we let you go, give the Liberty community, if they're not coming or if they are thinking about coming, give them a little bit of a shout out to get them to Struthers on Saturday.
If you're thinking about coming, don't think about it. Just go buy your ticket. Come on out and support us. If you can't make it out, go check us out on YSN. But definitely come check us out. We need all your support. And we want to thank you in advance for coming out and helping us support.
Perfect segue. The game will be on ysnlive.com. Alec Caberna will be calling that game. He's been covering you guys all year. He'll have a good call, and $9.99 gets you access to every tournament game on the network tomorrow. So if you are able to go, definitely go and support the Leopards. But if you can't, make sure to tune in on ysnlive.com. Coach, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it. And hopefully next week we can talk to you again soon about maybe a district championship and maybe a regional semifinal.
I would love to talk about that.
All right, we'll see you, Coach.
All right, thank you. Have a good day, guys.
Coach Watson, Liberty Leopards coming in to the district championship game on Saturday. That'll do it for this episode of Running Point. Me and Ty will be back on Monday from 12 to 2 to talk about all the action that happens over the weekend. We'll probably have some winning coaches, maybe some winning players. Romo, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and kind of fill in for Ty, who's dealing with some power outages, and we appreciate your insight. We know you're going to have a good call tonight in Springfield. Good luck with that, and thank you so much again for taking the time.
Of course, it's going to be a very exciting weekend of basketball here in the Valley. Hopefully, we have a lot of district champions. I know we have a lot of Valley schools participating in district finals, which really it's so special. This is one of the most special times of the year. There's one thing for football playoffs, but those are only one game a night. A lot of these basketball games are kind of bookended. They go back to back. So definitely great atmospheres all around the Valley. Should be a show.
We're guaranteed at least two district champions because we have two all YSN matchups in the district championships in Division III. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next, Power Hour from 3 to 4, and then a bunch of basketball over the weekend. And me and Ty will see you on Monday. Have a good